Hey guys, Jason at Hard Money Bankers, and we are talking about building rapport with your potential borrowers, with your clients, while underwriting them at the exact same time. Now, what's really interesting about a hard money lender? It's one of the only businesses that, number one, you have to be very salesy because obviously you want to attract borrowers to work with you, but at the same time you need to mitigate risk because you want to make sure you're making good investment decisions to protect your money and other investors' money. So let's start at the beginning. When a borrower reaches out to you, when a borrower calls you, maybe comes into your office, how do you go through the process? Well, it's really simple. I like to hear the borrower's story of exactly what they're looking for. So we sit down, we talk on the phone, and says, tell me a little bit about the project. And they're telling me kind of, usually they work backwards of like, oh, it's a really good deal. I can make like $30,000 on this deal. And then we kind of start and say, well, what's the purchase price? What's the construction cost? What do you think your ARV is? The reason I ask them what they think their ARV is to match it up with my ARV is to know where their head is, to see if they know what they're doing, what they're not doing. So throughout the entire process, I'm underwriting them, but at the same time, it's kind of disguised as like building rapport and doing a needs analysis. So, the last thing you want to do is go back and forth with borrowers over and over and over and kind of just be like, okay, well, tell me what you want and I'll see what I can do type of situation. We keep everything very conversational. In this business, you get a lot of opportunities, and unfortunately most of them don't work just because they don't qualify for the program or the underwriting guidelines that you put in place. You want to make sure you're writing good deals. So all of this stuff is super important, but at the same time, you want to be salesy. You want to be friendly. You want to be, help them. If it's not a good deal, tell them why it's not a good deal. That's important. So all really positive things that you need to go through when you're working with a potential borrower. And like I said at the beginning, you got to be salesy. You want them to want to work with you, but at the same time, you need to mitigate risk. What I like to do, and I'm not saying you have to do it this way, what I like to do is usually I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let me look at some comps on this property. We'll see how much we can lend. And usually what I do is I'm actually on our local MLS and I'm pulling comps at the same time. If you're not comfortable with that, you can do it as a two-step approach. So you get all the information, you kind of quote them a number. So for instance, let's say they think that the property is worth 200 grand and you're willing to lend 130, let's say you're doing 65 LTV. Tell them what that loan amount is ahead of time. Tell them approximately how much cash to close it is ahead of time. You should know all these things off the top of your head. These are things that we work on kind of on a regular basis, so we know exactly what that is. If someone's going to need 30 grand and they only have 10, there's no point to go pull comps and take it to the next level. All of this stuff should be kind of be happening seamlessly. Phones are ringing nonstop with borrowers that have deals that want to get money lent to them. So we like to move quick, and if the numbers don't work, that's fine. You move on to the next deal. So just make sure you understand all this stuff. It's important. I mean, our job is to do as many deals as we can, but at the same time, it's important to make sure you're going through them as soon as possible. And you'll know when a right deal comes through. It's somebody who knows what they're doing, they seem like they have experience, and you talk the talk. And if you don't want to quote them a loan amount right then, no problem. As long as they verbally tell you that based on their numbers, they have the means to make the deal work, and it makes sense for you to go online, pull some comps, figure out what you're comfortable with, and then call them back and see if you can get the deal closed. Hopefully you found this helpful. A lot more really cool videos related to helping you become a hard money lender are coming out soon.